What's up, guys? So today we're gonna have Dr. Zach Leal come in and check out Skyler for us today. I have some ideas of what may be going on, but I wanted to bring in an expert and get a second opinion. So Skyler's gonna go ahead and go into abduction here. Abduct. You can kind of see that the shoulder blade go down again, go smooth and go up super slow.
Yeah, his definitely makes a big difference.
You see that the scaps kind of pop out a little bit. And the other thing is it's really hard for him right now to hold abduction. You can see that the delt turns on and the rhomboids, low trap, mid trap don't really turn on. And there's not a lot of muscle tone in the rhomboids and then rotator cuff muscles too. So Zach's gonna kind of help us diagnose and see what's going on. We'll do some rotator cuff strength testing too.
And press. Hold it. Actually did not too bad on the left side. Pull.
Were you feeling it all in here?
Yeah, it's feeling my lats a little bit, yeah.
What's up, guys? I'm here with Dr. Zach Leal and Skyler. I had Dr. Zach Leal come out to take a look at Skyler for me. He has some kind of interesting scapular dyskinesis going on. I'm not sure what it is, so I'm gonna have Dr. Leal introduce himself and take a look at Skyler's shoulder for us.
What's up, guys? Physical therapist, owner of Forged Physical Therapy. Been hanging out with these guys for a while, so we're just gonna kind of take a look. Obviously, you guys will get an insight on what I see and kind of what I'm testing, and then we'll kind of see what we can do for him. We'll get him on some sort of home program or some sort of warm-up protocol, something like that, just to make sure that we're addressing all the deficits, and we'll kind of go from there, and you guys will be able to see kind of where my brain goes and what I'm thinking. So I've gotten a little bits and pieces of the story. I have kind of a couple ideas. Like I said, we'll test everything and we'll kind of see where we're at. Pinch your shoulder blades together. Good, back, relax. Do that a couple times. Good. Arms are gonna come up off to the side. You're gonna hold it for, no, just hold it. Okay, now come back down. Okay, you're gonna do that a couple times, I'll tell you to stop.
It's pretty wild, huh?
Any pain there?
In here, it's like I don't know, it's like a tendon that like pops.
Hold it. Getting tired?
Yeah.
Where? Like the shoulders?
Yeah, shoulders.
Okay, keep holding it. So, with every single one of my patients, I try to take them through some sort of functional movement screen. It's not anything specific, it's more non-specific. I want to see if there's anything crazy that pops out to me. With their lunges, with their squat, with their rotation, anything like that. But the biggest thing that I notice is that his rib cage always rotates in one direction with anything that he does. So you can even see it here, this left side is kind of protruded where it's almost like this, and his right side tends to sit a little bit more down. In theory, when we're talking about like the diaphragm and everything like that, it should be either a little bit more even, or there's some other people and some other practices out there that say that you should have a little bit more protrusion on the right due to because your stomach sits on your left side. So liver and everything like that kind of sits up underneath there. So in theory is that the rib cage shouldn't be protruding on the left side at all. But because he biases that way, I would assume that there's something going on from a spinal something or other. But again, if I don't take him through that movement screen and I just assume that this is a shoulder issue, I don't see stuff like that. So I do things where I try to go non-specific first, and then I try to take that information in, and then I try to dive more into specifics.
You say the rib cage is rotated and you're having him do the lunges and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When you, like, let's say he's going back on his right foot, are you seeing it rotate both ways?
3 squat rings. Close your eyes, the squat rings. Go. Nothing crazy. Big deep breaths. See how you can see that rib flare on that left side. So it's more prominent on his left side, so he rotates right. So I'm not saying that it necessarily
it's the contributing factor, but you're saying
I'm just noticing that.
He's noticing.
But again, when we're talking about the thorax for a kid like him, right? So arms by your side, so super flat T-spine, right? There's nothing there.
Right.
So your anterior tilt, I'm not saying that, don't take this personally, it's not that you're wrong, it's just it might necessarily be that he doesn't have as much kyphosis as the rest of us, so then he's already sitting in a visual anterior tilt, but it might not be anterior tilted. Mm-hmm. If anything, it might just be downwardly rotated, but because of the way that it's downwardly rotated and you're getting that medial border of the scap popping off, is that his the kyphosis nature of the spine and his rib cage doesn't have a good relationship with his scapula. And therefore it's basically like a train that's like moving on like floating tracks, because it doesn't have a surface to hold on to. So then now when we're talking about functional anatomy, right? So if his rib cage is protruding here and it's flat here, serratus, rhomboids, all those type of muscles don't have a good engagement because it doesn't have anything to sit on. So that's kind of where I'm not going to sit here and say like left protruding rib cage is contributing to everything else, but it could be a factor. I'm going to make a core set with my hand. I want you to push my hands apart from each other. Go ahead. One more. Now what I want you to do is, are you able to bring your rib cage down? Good. Is that painful?
No.
No? Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to expand your rib cage against my hands. So 5 seconds in, 2 second hold of your breath, 5 seconds out. Okay? So if you can see my thumbs, that's literally on rib 8. Right, so floating ribs on the back, like that's significant. I'm not saying it's significant like, oh my god, like it's an injury. It's just like that type of asymmetry with this much protrusion. I'm like, I don't love that.
Like right after, it's like I think I timed it fighting for.
Has anybody ever told you that you're like one of the most hypermobile people I've ever met?
Really?
Oh.
In terms of the anterior laxity? Really?
It's a time when I'm talking like baseball players and stuff like that, how much ER you get, even on your non-dominant side, is pretty indicative of like overhead athletics.
Yeah.
From a swimmer's perspective, they're not going to get as much retroversion of the humerus because you're always getting into flexion.
I see more humeral anteversion with swimmers than retroversion.
I mean, yeah, that would be something where I'd have to look a little bit more into it, but like to me, anteversion would come in just because a lot, subscap and biceps and all those muscles, because you're sitting into so much extension, that it might be pulling you in anteversion versus like bony adaptations into anteversion. But with that being said, is that like having that much external rotation, laxity, everything like that, like it obviously plays into his athleticism because that's what you want. But at the same time too, is that if he has so much of it, and then you're always going after I'm tight, and then you're trying to create more mobility, it's going to be a very hard neurological thing for him to kind of always grab onto because he's already so lax.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, this is 150 degrees. I mean, that's 55 degrees. So, I mean, we're talking 205, which normal humans walking around, I'm 165, 175. My hypermobile athletes, I'm in the 195s to 200. Anything more than like 185, and I'm like, all right, you're already hypermobile, but then it's like, then what? Like, what's that bias? So for him, ER bias versus IR bias is one thing. I would expect him to have a little bit more IR bias than he does, but he has a little bit more ER bias. But like when we're talking pure laxity, I mean, like I can just move his joints like all over the place. Even like inferior glides, like, and even there, I'm taking him into so much ER, and I mean, there's still just like so much play, which is good.
Capsular mobility, but we're not getting good scapular mobility, right? That's what you're kind of saying.
And then that's the other thing. I think he has a ton of mobility. Like even like when I'm having him going up overhead, like his shoulder blades are still wrapping around his ribcage enough where I'm like, I'm not worried. But I think it's just that like he's like trying to move his shoulders on invisible tracks. Like I don't think he has any idea where his shoulders are at in space. Oh, but then the thing is that his perception, and this is, I have this conversation with my hypermobile patients. It's every single one of them. They always say, "I always feel tight. I always feel tight. I always feel tight." The brain's perception of space. It's like a donut. I wish I had a chalkboard, but think about like this shape as like your natural mobility. You feel here all the time. But the problem is that you're already here and then you're trying to create more, but your body's only natural compensation is here. But then for you is that like you're always kind of chasing the rabbit, you're always chasing an invisible thing, where for you is that if you can get more towards like brain integration and activation and closed chain and like perceiving where your body's at in space, you're probably going to do a lot better. The problem is though, is that like, again, is that like that's the right word I'm looking for. It's not that you have like an injury, it's just you always feel like something's wrong. Where it might not be something is wrong, it's just like you've gone so long that you've never really perceived what's right. I think if we can do a little bit of stuff with you today, like it might just kind of like, oh, like light bulb starts to flicker, and then you start to feel a little bit better. To sit there and say, hey, is this going to necessarily shave 5 seconds off your, hopefully. Hopefully. I mean, it's in there, right? Because you got to this point, and then all of a sudden it's like, you don't just like, no athlete just wakes up one day and is like, yeah, I'm gonna swim 30 seconds slower. That doesn't happen. So now it just kind of comes down to hopefully that this is like a correlating factor to like, okay, cool, let's get you strong, let's work on this, let's work on that. Then hopefully that will then in turn kind of translate to performance, right? Let's do this. Let's go on your stomach. Perfect. Hold that. This is probably all shoulders for you, huh? I want to see what goes first. I want to just see if you can just hold it. If he's all deltoid rotator cuff, in theory, what you're going to start to notice is as he starts to fatigue, if it's a serratus issue, he's going to start sinking. He's going to start retracting, and then rib cage is going to pop off, or scaps are going to pop off the rib cage. But he's actually doing a good job. Let's do this. Let's go up into like a modified push-up position. You need to stay on the table. Okay. Now I want you to pinch your shoulder blades together. Good. Now push them apart. Good. Now do that a bunch of times so I tell you to stop. Look how much like mobility he has on his elbows, right?
Well,
30 degrees of hyperextension.
Yeah.
From, I mean, he's probably done 20 of these. The natural movement hasn't really changed much,
Right.
which is good. So that means like from a ability standpoint is that he's able. I just think he's dipping down into such a continuum that I just don't think he has the strength to necessarily sustain with what he's asking his body to do. So like, for instance, if we can kind of, not necessarily mold him, but if we can kind of get him in a little bit more positions to succeed from a like anatomical standpoint, I think he can, in theory, hopefully do that a lot better and then sustain, and then fatigue doesn't set in as quickly. I'm gonna do a rotator cuff strength test on him, and I'm just gonna kind of do a bunch of different stuff. I wanna do a couple manual muscle tests, just they're not very indicative of anything, but I just wanna see what happens. Up, 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 up. Go, 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 go. Good. Supraspinatus strength test. So rotator cuff muscle that sits right here on top of part of the spine. That's weak, like weak. Like I want that probably like 25, 26, 27. So I mean, we're talking like a 60% deficit.
Yeah.
Right. So again, from a rotator cuff strength standpoint, it's just not quite there.
Yeah.
2, 1, hold. Good. Compared to your left does pretty well. Pretty symmetrical. Actually, it was pretty bad tests on my part because I changed it. But with that being said, as on your right side, like you have a severe decrease right off the bat. Yeah. Right. 3, 2, 1, pull. Same thing.
Oh yeah, way weaker.
Way on the right.
Yeah.
From a lat perspective, especially being a swimmer, I want these like 75, give or take, because like most of my throwers, like lats and like throwers and swimmers should have pretty good lat strength.
Right.
Just from what I'm like kind of gathering so far is just like, I think one, you just need to get stronger. From a strength perspective, it needs to be from like a very isolated, like it not necessarily needs to start from 0, but like you need to be like disgustingly good about like, hey, I need to do like these 6 exercises, and you just need to progress the weight over and over again. Do you do like a lot of mobility work?
I used to like stretch a lot, just like normal stretching.
So basically, I was gonna just tell you like, I don't want you stretching anymore. There's no need.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think you need to spend more time like activating, yes, but it needs to be like isometric type stuff.
You know, if he's doing the horizontal T off the table, but what if he's doing it with like full, like he's like this, right? It's just all delt, and we're not making any adaptation that we actually need.
I know, that's what I was talking about with that 1%, is that like his 1%, even if he veers off at 1% at all, he's gonna end up as really, really small. So that's where we need to be like, almost like, it needs to be like so rudimentary where it's like, we're putting him in positions where there's nothing else he can do except activate. I want you to think about, again, getting that shoulder blade on your rib cage.
So you want the scap to be snug, right?
Yeah, so I want him there. And now serratus in theory should be kicking in. He's gonna fatigue. The more that he fatigues, his shoulder blade is gonna pop off his rib cage back into retraction. And I wanna see if you can kind of hold this. And again, more force vector in theory, you're gonna get more rotator cuff activation, but because he's so deltoid dominant, that he's probably just gonna start fatiguing to the point where, again, now it's starting to pull off, right? So you're gonna do like a 30-second hold. Yeah, see, like it's already starting to pop off back here. So just trying to kind of put them in positions where it kind of forces them to try to do a good relax. Come on, hold it. Like 4 sets of 30 seconds on each side. Nothing crazy. Yeah. Open press. I start guys on their knees just so that they can kind of feel what I'm asking them to do, but it's a good way for closure and serratus activation. So it's a downward dog on your elbows. So it's press from your armpits. Armpits. Good. Now press your shoulder blades away from your armpits. Good. Hips go back, hips go back. Come on, get back there, get back there. There you go. Good. Okay, don't force yourself through your hypermobility. I just want you to feel here. Go ahead. Go. Go, 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 go. That's it. Get out of it. So once your shoulder blades stop moving, you stop moving. There you go. Good. Like he's gonna fake it against you because he has such a flat T-spine that you're gonna look at this and say like, oh, he's not getting it now. Don't stop him, but I just want you to feel it. Go ahead. So he gets there. I mean, if you follow the inferior border, he's getting all the way around on the rib cage. So his inferior border is right here. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. So I mean, he's getting all the way around. Good. So I'm not super worried. But again, it's just because he gives you a false look at it. And I would just say, as long as he's doing it, I think it's good. Where do you feel that?
I like towards the end, I was like feeling it in my shoulders because I was like on leaning against it.
Before, were you feeling it at all in here?
Yeah, I was feeling it in my lats a little bit, yeah.
Oh, it's not your lats, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're feeling it here?
T-spine, downward dog reach. So it's not necessarily for T-spine mobility because you have that. It's trying to keep your shoulder blade on your rib cage into upward rotation. Okay, so you're gonna take your right hand, you're gonna try to reach left toe, but it's a shoulder activation where I want you to think about trying to engage your shoulder blade. Good. Okay, so that should be this kind of like gross kind of just shoulder activation. It shouldn't be anything super crazy, right? But as you do more of that, it should fatigue him. But you did really well because you kept your shoulder blades pretty good on your rib cage and you went in upward rotation. And it kind of snuck in as on the end, which is what I want. Okay. It's gonna go through the outside. It's gonna go up and around your bicep. Hands are gonna go on your hips. Its shoulder blade rolls forward, shoulder blade rolls back. Wow, look at you. Good.
A little bit like here.
Back right shoulder.
Like right here.
Come all the way back. All the way back. Bring this thing. There you go. There. No lumbar. Hold that right there. Hold it. Hold it. Okay, I'm gonna let go. Don't want it to drop forward. Right here. Right here. Hold it right here.
Come on.
Is it okay if like my body's like tilting?
I don't even care at this point. Come on, get back there. Get back there.
Is it okay if he's dumped into anterior twist? No.
So that's what he was doing to start. That's where you're gonna get tears. You want.
So he's gonna need some manual assistance.
Hopefully not. Okay, hold that right there. Hands on your hips. Come on, get back there.
Because this would be like
No
the
lumbar.
best version, right?
Yeah. Right here. There you go. Keep holding it. Get back there. Get back there. Try to go 2 birds, 1 stone as much as I can. So if I can put you in a side plank, you're going to get activation on the left side as well on the right. But if you can't hold it, then there's no point. So side plank, okay. Elbow stays away from your side, and I want you to space it away because you're going to get more activation. I'm going to try just traditional ER. If that doesn't work, then we're going to kind of go into like a really eccentric T. Just go there. Just like keep going back. There. Okay, now hold that. Don't even move. Just hold that right there. You want that right here? Yeah. So see, like he's already just dumping. Everything he's doing is just going like that. No bicep. Good. So ideally is that he has something in between him and his side. Rolled up towel, a pillow, something like that, just so that it puts him in a little bit better of a position. Because then he's not always so like trying to kind of like figure that out. This will give him a little bit of rest, and it'll give him a good like reference point.
That looks a little better.
It's a lot better. Full shoulder girdle. Right there. Hold that. Is that all right here?
Yeah.
You feel it here?
Yeah.
So obviously isometrics is going to be the first thing that kind of goes, but I want to have him then progress into reps so that he's building some sort of muscle mass. you're gonna have your right side, you're gonna kind of almost dip to your left side. What I want you to do is you're gonna breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you do that, I want you to think about rounding your rib cage. You're gonna hold it for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And then as you let your air out, you're gonna purse your lips together. And you're gonna keep the round. And I wanna hear it. So you're gonna rotate. No, hold on. Bring this elbow in toward your knee. Good, like that. Out, breathe out, keep that round, keep that round, keep that round. Good, now reset, breathe in. Feel funky to you?
I'm not really like feeling it that much.
It's not a feel thing.
Oh, okay.
This is a neurological thing.
Okay.
If anything, it's gonna feel probably really funky, like right here at the bottom of your rib cage. Kind of like where you feel it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why I'm putting you in that right side bias is because I just want your rib cage to learn how to rotate again. Okay. That's gonna be kind of like a really minute kind of movement, but it's trying to kind of tuck that left side in, trying to get that right side to rotate around a little bit better.
So only do it on that side.
Only do it on that side.
So Zach just left. Thank you, Zach, for coming out and doing this for us. Couple really cool things about Zach. The first thing is he doesn't try to like say he absolutely knows this is the thing that's wrong with him. He makes guesses on what's wrong, and then because coaches and physical therapists are kind of like scientists, you kind of want to make a best guess, test your hypothesis, and then see what it does a couple weeks down the road. So that's exactly what he did. He doesn't have an ego. He doesn't say this is exactly what's going on. He kind of makes guesses and then makes his best guesses from there. The other really cool thing about Zach is because he was an athlete himself, he doesn't try to label you with a problem and make you feel really bad about the condition that you have. He just says it as it is and then gives you solutions instead of label you with a problem. So I think that's a really cool thing about physical therapists that were athletes and also understand the psychology of sport. They know how to work with you without ruining your confidence.
Which is something I was saying. I was asking Zach what I should name this video. And I was asking if I should say scapular dyskinesis, and he just said, just do swimming performance evaluation.
Yeah, whenever you have an athlete with an issue, you want to avoid like hammering them and labeling them with the issue, because then they start to really identify with it, and then it kind of messes with their confidence.
I feel pretty sore in my abs and my scaps, which is pretty good. I also learned new stuff about just like how my body is built and where I need to improve on, which is nice.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, go ahead and like and subscribe.